What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my post-event recap for UFC 318, Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier 3. Got a lot to talk about. It was a wild card from top to bottom, and I got a lot to say. Got a lot to say about a lot of these fights, so can't wait to get into it. Let's do so. Before we do, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Let me know how you guys did on your picks, your bets. Let me know if you guys liked the card. Did you guys enjoy the card? You guys like the main card, the pay-per-view card? Let me know. Comment down. But, all right, let's get right into it. And, yeah, for me, this was just a roller coaster of emotion type card. Like, I've been, tracking my bets since, 2019. And this was probably the most roller coaster type night I've ever had because I started off the best I ever had. I mean, this was probably the best prelims I've ever had. And it all started with Carla Judice. I had Carla Judice by knockout, 0.75 units at plus 420. So right off the bat, plus 3.15 units with a third round finish. And yeah, Carla Judice looked incredible and, pretty much as expected, right? Like Cagliari, she's undersized. She's very hittable. She's very tough. I'll give that to Cagliari. She's very tough. And I will say her cardio looked a lot better than I expected, but, Carla Judice, they call her crispy for a reason, man. I mean, she was looking crispy the entire fight, and what I found interesting about Judice in this fight was, typically she's throwing that head kick, and she's landed that head kick on a lot of fighters, on a lot of opponents, and we didn't see her attempt even one head kick. I didn't see her attempt one head kick, but what she was doing was she was throwing a bunch of knees up the middle, to the body. She even landed one to the face of Cagliari, it looked like. But she landed a nasty knee to the body, third round, and was able to get the knockout for me there. So, yeah, shout out to Judice. She looked good. I mean, she's the real deal. She showed she can stuff takedowns. I mean, what Cagliari went 1 for 8 on takedowns. If Judice can stuff takedowns, maybe shore up that strike defense a little bit, Judice is going to be a problem. The striking's great. The volume's great. The cardio is great. Judice is going to be a very good fighter in the very near future, and she is. She is a really good fighter. So Judice got it done, kicked off the night for me. Right. Next we have Bruno Ferrer going against Jackson McVey. I had the under 1.5 rounds in a parlay. Got reverse CLV'd badly. Like I parlayed it at like minus 298, and it ended up closing at like minus 195. So I'm not sure who or why somebody would bet the over in this fight, but people were doing it. And yeah, Jackson McVey looked rough. Ooh, he looked rough. And I had a big bet on Jackson McVey when he was supposed to fight Cedricus Dumas, and it's like, geez, if that guy shows up against Cedricus Dumas, I'm not even sure he beats Cedricus. I mean, Jackson just did not look anything like he didn't look anything like he did in any of his other fights. So maybe it was, UFC debut, but that's not how Jackson fights. Like, Jackson's like, balls to the wall, get you in the clinch, land some knees, land some elbows. But he kind of stuck at distance for a couple minutes and then did go for a takedown after getting his leg hurt. Ended up on bottom, and then Bruno Ferrer got the first round submission. So, yeah, had the under there, and, really not much of a sweat. But Bruno Ferrer gets it done, and I'm curious to see if they do rebook that Jackson McVey Cedricus Dumas fight. Hopefully Cedricus can get that ankle monitor off in the very near future. All right, up next, we had Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski, and I'm proud of myself for this one. So it's like there's a bunch of untrustworthy fighters on this card, and we'll talk about some on the main card that didn't come through. But yeah, Ryan Spann's probably one of the most untrustworthy fighters in the UFC. But it's like, dude, he's fighting Lucas Brzeski. So I had 1.5 units on Ryan Spann to win and under 1.5 rounds at plus 130. And then after I saw Ryan Spann show up at weigh-ins and look like he trained for this fight, added another quarter unit. So I ended up being 1.75 units on Ryan Spann to win under 1.5 rounds. And he went out there and he looked great. Ryan Spann looked great. The striking looked good. He was wrestling. The grappling looked good, and then he got Lucas Brzeski in that guillotine, and once he did, it was a wrap. Ryan Spann, he gets it done, and he looks minus 500. It really wasn't even remotely competitive, but that was to be expected. Like, if Span's going to win, it's round one, and that's kind of why I love that the Span in the under 1.5 rounds. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about it, but we came through with flying colors. Up next, we had Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Praio. I had a 5-unit max bet on Jimmy Crute at minus 238, and beat the line, closed around minus 330, and quite frankly, like, I didn't get the line at all. I didn't get it, even where it closed. Like, I truly felt like Jimmy Crute has all the tools and has all the tools to, be minus 400, minus 500. And people can call me crazy, saying that, but it's like, have you ever seen Marcin Praio fight? I mean, this guy has a worse gas tank than Crute. He has no ground game. And Crute did make it a sweat, but, which was to be expected. Crute did make it a sweat. I'm looking at the striking numbers now, and Praio outlanded Crute 21-5. So yeah, he did make it a sweat, but at the same time, Crute did go out there and wrestle, got 3 takedowns, and eventually tapped out Marcin Praio with a nice armbar there. So yeah, I thought Crute could have won by any which method, but ended up being a first round submission, which I picked a first round sub, cashed the max bet. And the night rolls on. It's been a great night so far. Crute gets it done, and it was scary. It was scary having that much money on Jimmy Crute. It really was, but kind of made it look easy, I guess. But yeah, first round sub. Next we got Islam Dulatov going against Adam Fugit. I got him the under 1.5 rounds at a great price. Beat a lot of line movement on it. Got plus 105 for 2 units. Just, this guy, Islam Dulatov, is an under machine. With that said, though, he did fight a lot differently than I had seen him fight in all of his previous fights. Typically, he's just balls to the wall, just absolute reckless in there, and he seems to have, tightened that up a little bit. He was a lot more patient, and even with being a lot more patient, he still was able to absolutely destroy poor Adam Fugit and knock him out with like a minute left in the first round. So the under hits. Dulatov, I think he's pretty dang good. I think he's pretty good. He's young. He's only going to get better. And Adam Fugit's not a tough guy to finish. I mean, Michael Morales had finished him in round 3, and even Mike Malott took him round 2, and Islam got him out of there in the very first round, as expected. So Islam Dulatov, looking forward to seeing where he goes from here. And yeah, hit the under, and that was a great bet. Up next, we got Taba Godier going against Robert Valentine. I had the under 1.5 rounds, minus 110 for 1.5 units. It didn't move much throughout the week. I thought it would move a lot more, but the under closed around like minus 130. And yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks for Valentine here, because I think Valentine is a very fun and exciting fighter, but just quite frankly, he's probably just not that good. Tonight was a very bad look. He got hurt, and it's kind of weird. Like, he got hurt, and then he would back up against the cage and then say, "Come on, bring it on." And then he'd get hurt again, and then he'd be like, "Bring it on." And then Godier would bring it on, and then eventually Godier finally hurt Robert Valentine how many times in that fight, and that fight ended very quickly. Godier finished him in about a minute 10. It was a really bad look for Robert Valentine. So Valentine's on a 3-fight skid, probably gets cut. Ran into 3 tough matchups in his UFC career. So yeah, that sucks. But yeah, Godier, this guy is the real. 23 years old. Taba Godier, 23 years old. Dude, 6'4". Only getting better. I mean, good luck. If you're gonna fight Taba Godier, good luck. And he ran through Robert Valentine, who's actually a pretty good fighter. So, yeah, the under 1.5 hits. We cash it. And we move on to the next fight. So, yeah, at this point, I'm feeling great. Hit like 6 bets in a row. Feeling incredible. And I have a dog shot on Nikolai Veriteneov. 1.5 units, plus 130. And this fight took a lot of years off my life, It took a lot of years off my life because it was bad. It was very bad. So first off, I mean, the fight kicks off, and I'm looking down at my phone, and I look up, and it's like Prado gets on top of Veriteneov. I'm like, oh my gosh, really, Nikolai? And then he ends up, reversing Prado, getting on top, and ends up slamming him on his head. It looks like he potentially flash KO'd Prado. And then Veriteneov proceeded to beat the brakes off of Prado a little bit in that first round. So you give Veriteneov the first. And then Veriteneov just starts fighting dumb. He's completely both guys are gassed, but Veritenikov's completely gassed in that second round. He's throwing stupid spinning shit for no reason, ending up on bottom. I hate when fighters do that, man. They're gassed out, and you throw some spinning shit when you're 2 feet away from your opponent. It never ends well. You either get your back taken or you get taken down, and that's what happened. So, yeah, the second round was close. I thought they were going to give it to Prado, to be honest, because Prado was able to get a takedown, was able to get 2 minutes of control, and Veritenikov's body language just looked really bad. But on the feet, Veriteneov did do some work. But yeah, I was kind of surprised they gave the second round to Veriteneov. And then the third round was all Prado. Veriteneov was completely gassed, and just a very disappointing performance, really, from both guys. I mean, I think both guys should be ashamed of themselves. Francisco Prado needs to go down to lightweight. He's not a welterweight. He's not a welterweight at all. And Veriteneov, I think he's done. I mean, 35 years, even in a win, I think he's done. 35 years old, 1 round of cardio, no ground game. I can't wait to fade Nikolai Veriteneov. But tonight, was able to cash a bet. Did he win the fight? I didn't think so, but you take it when you can get it. So yeah, up until then, it's a phenomenal night. I think I cashed 7 bets in a row, looking to be a monster night, looking to be an astronomical night. Everything's going perfectly, and then I lose my first bet. And I don't mind this. I don't mind this shot at all. I had Marvin Vtori for 1.25 units at plus 200. And it was one of those fights where it was competitive, it was close, but clear, who the winner was. Officially, on significant strikes, Allen outlanded Vtori 111 to 109. The first round, Allen hurts Vtori and eventually gets reversed, and Vtori gets on top and starts beating up Allen a little bit. They give the first round, I think they gave all 3 rounds to Allen, actually. But the reason that happened was Allen just looked like he wanted it more, to be honest. Allen was the guy coming forward. Allen was throwing more. Every time Vtori threw, he pretty much landed. But Allen came forward. Vittori's face was busted up. The optics were bad. Vtori was backing up for 15 minutes. It just kind of seemed like Allen wanted it more. Allen was in his hometown. So, yeah, Allen gets the job done. Didn't hate the bet on Vtori. But Allen won pretty clean there, I'd say. Up next, and I have to fire my graphics guy. I forgot to put the forgot to do the little color here to say he lost there. So I'll have to hit my graphics guy and have a word with him. But there we go. All right, so this fight actually played out exactly how I thought it would. Exactly how I thought it would. Kyler Phillips wins round 1. Vinicius Oliveira wins round 2. And then it all comes down to who wins. I think I'm fried. Kyler Phillips wins round 1. Vinicius Oliveira wins round 3. It all comes down to who wins round 2. Sorry, little fried. And Oliveira did win round 2 and ultimately won the fight. So I talked all week about live betting Oliveira after the first round, but geez, the books are sharp. Man, they're sharp. Because Kyler won the first round. And then I go to live bet Oliveira, and it's like, Oliveira's minus 180. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. So they were kind of all over. I was hoping to get maybe plus money. But it is what it is. Yeah, Kyler, what can you say? I mean, looks like he didn't figure it out. And I didn't expect him to figure out the cardio. I mean, it wasn't just the Fawn fight. Go watch any Kyler fight. He's slowing down after the first 7.5 minutes, and the pressure of Oliveira. Phillips didn't like that pressure, so Oliveira gets it done. Oliveira's 4-0 in the UFC. and it's hard to see Oliveira losing in the very near future. So we'll see where he goes from here. So yeah, I finished the prelims up over 11 units, and all I needed on the main card was to win one bet for a winning night. Let's get to the main card. All right. Here it is. So I had Daniel Zellhuber in a parlay, and I got him in the parlay at like when he was like minus 500. He did close at like minus 800. He did close as like a minus 800 favorite. And then I also had a shot on Daniel Zellhuber inside the distance. So Daniel Zellhuber proceeds to go out there with one of the worst performances I've seen in just a very long time. It's hard to think the game plan for Zellhuber would be to, spam 50 head kicks against Michael Johnson, 49 of which were blocked. I mean, was that the game plan, Daniel? 50 head kicks, 49 of which were blocked. One landed, I think. Was that the game? That couldn't have been the game plan, Daniel. That couldn't have been the game plan. Michael Johnson, 39 years old, goes out there and beats Zellhuber easily. I mean, the first round, Johnson outlands him 2-1. Zellhuber threw like 20 blocked head kicks. That was awesome. Round 2, Michael Johnson actually drops Daniel Zellhuber. Like, it's one of those performances where it's just like, really? Really? So, yeah, Daniel Zellhuber, I am out on Daniel Zellhuber. This is a guy, I thought there was a little something. There's nothing, man. This guy lost to Trey Ogden, and I forgave him. It was his debut. But if you're losing to Trey Ogden in a 15-minute striking fight, and if you're losing to a 39-year-old Michael Johnson, I mean, you're done, man. So, sorry, I mean, this fight made me sick. Yeah, so that hurt. That was a big loss for me. 3.5 unit loss on Zellhuber. Up next, Dan Ige, Patricio Pitbull, and we talked about Zellhuber's performance, but it's like, Dan Ige, dude, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, dude? And I had a big bet on Dan Ige, 2.5 units. Had a little shot on the knockout prop as well. And Dan Ige just simply didn't show up. And I said to myself, and I said this throughout the week, for Pitbull to win this fight, he's going to have to do something that he hasn't done in years. Which was, A, throw volume, which he still didn't. I mean, Pitbull landed 55 strikes across 15 minutes. It's just that Ige landed even less somehow. Landed even less. Or B, wrestle. I haven't seen Pitbull wrestle for a very long time. But he actually went out there and he took down Ige, and he took down Ige 5 times. So once I saw Pitbull wrestling in the first round, I'm like, oh, that's not good. And it didn't help that Ige was just doing absolutely nothing. I mean, it was just a baffling performance by Dan Ige. The fight was awful. I mean, Pitbull fights going forward, they're just going to be awful because nobody's going to do anything. Just terrible. But yeah, Pitbull gets the big upset, 38 years old. Got it done. And I lose my Dan Ige bet. Ige does hurt him in the third round, but doesn't have any urgency to follow up, which was cool. And Ige actually gets close to getting knocked out. Probably the closest Ige's been to getting knocked out in the second round against Pitbull. So another kind of bizarre performance. And another bad bet for me on the main card. And then I'm like, yeah, Zellhuber dropped the ball. Minus 800, that wasn't cool. That hurt. Ige dropped the ball. It is what it is. Holland's not going to drop the ball, right? Kevin Holland's not going to drop the ball against Daniel Rodriguez. And he went out there and he took the ball and he dropped it. Sometimes you just don't understand. Because D-Rod was going to split decision with Alex Morono, losing to Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, I don't get it. D-Rod looked career best at 38 years old. In the first 2 rounds. We'll get to the third. He looked career best in the first 2 rounds. He was hurting Holland on multiple occasions. Hurt him in the first round. And yeah, Holland actually outlanded D-Rod 40-29 in the first round. So yeah, first round was close, but they did give it to D-Rod. Second round, D-Rod beats the piss out of Holland. Drops him twice. Almost finishes him. Holland survives. And round 3 happens, and Holland goes out there, and it almost looks like fixed in a way, or rigged in a way, because how did Holland not finish D-Rod in that third round? It was wild. It was a very wild sequence. Like, Holland hurt D-Rod like at least 5 different times. D-Rod looked done. And it was weird. Like, Mike Beltran was anywhere near to stop the fight. Like, he was not looking to stop the fight at all. But yeah, D-Rod looked done. Like a couple punches away. Like, that might be it. A couple more elbows. But what does Kevin Holland decide to do? A jumping knee. A couple jumping knees in there. Couple jumping knees in there, Kevin Holland, really? And Kevin Holland, as a minus 650, minus 700 favorite, loses to Daniel Rodriguez and completely ruins my night. I had Kevin Holland in 2 parlays, one which already busted because of Zellhuber, so I had Kevin Holland in a parlay with the under 1.5 rounds in the McVey fight. I had Kevin Holland inside the distance. And I'm not one to say, something's free money or something's a lock, but if there was one on the card, I would have thought it would be Kevin Holland. I mean, I don't get how he lost to Daniel Rodriguez tonight. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, so that was a brutal loss. I mean, that was a big swing for me. Like, if Kevin Holland did end up finishing D-Rod in round 3, that's a 9.5 unit swing for me. If Kevin Holland finishes D-Rod tonight, that's a big swing. It's a big winning night. It's like a 10-unit night for me. It's almost a 10-unit night for me if Kevin Holland finishes D-Rod in that third round. So close, but so far away. Holland looked washed. You're wondering if there's like an injury or something going on with Holland, but he didn't really seem himself fight week. Usually he'll be talking some crap. Not really any of that. Usually he'd be talking some crap in the fight. Not really any of that. Something seemed off with Holland. I wonder if we'll see him at like a nice steakhouse or on a yacht somewhere after maybe cashing a D-Rod ticket. I don't know. I'm just saying it. Something feels off. But yeah, Holland loses the fight and completely punches me in the dick. And then we got the co-main event: Roman Copilov, Paulo Costa. At this point, it's like, what happened? Fell apart. 6 straight finishes to kick off the card. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decisions, 6 decisions in a row. We're due for a finish, right? We're due. Nope. Goes the decision. Costa hurts Copilov in round 1. Costa hurts Copilov in round 2, 3, I don't know. But yeah, Costa wins the fight. Copilov, just like Holland, just like Ige, just like Zellhuber, Copilov decided, hey, tonight I ain't showing up. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna do nothing. And that's exactly what Copilov did. He did nothing. Paulo Costa gets the easy win, 29-28 on one judge's scorecard, 30-27 on 2 of the judges' scorecards. Congratulations, Roman Copilov. Terrible. Just didn't do anything, dude. to win fights, you have to do stuff. And I think, that's something that Daniel Zellhuber, Dan Ige, Copilov, Holland, I think that's something they need to take into consideration for their next fight, is to win fights, you have to fight, you got to want to be there. And these first four favorites on the main card did not want to be here. And the main event, this guy wanted to be here. That's Max Holloway. Max Holloway gets it done. I actually called this fight perfectly. I had Holloway decision. My favorite bet, my best bet was the fight goes to decision. Did I bet it? No, I didn't. But yeah, Holloway looks great. 49-46 on two of the scorecards, 48-47. I did score at 49-46 myself. I even thought it could have been like a 50-45, but looks like they gave Poirier the second round. But yeah, I had it and I did too. But yeah, could have been just domination, right? Domination from the start. Holloway dropped Poirier in round 1, which kind of surprised me. And after that, it was just all Holloway. I thought Holloway won probably 95% of that fight. 90%, 95% of the fight. Just in control the whole time. Poirier did have a big moment in round 2. But outside of that, it was pretty much all Holloway. So Holloway gets it done. Overall, I went 9-5 on my picks, which is like not terrible, but I started out 8-1 on the picks. 1-4 on the main card, awful. And like I said, I started up over 11 units on the prelims, but lost like 13 units on the main card. It was my worst main card ever. It was my greatest prelims ever. So just a bizarre roller coaster type card. Like, I don't know if this ever happened to me before. And when I think about it, when it's all said and done, like, tonight could have been awful for me. Like, I could have been, like, if the prelims didn't go the way they did, and it could have been a really rough night if the prelims didn't go the way they did. If I didn't crush the prelims and the main card played out how it did, with Holland losing, with Ige losing, Zellhuber losing, I could have got just destroyed tonight. So, yeah, small losing night, and it hurts, but at the same time, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. Cashed some good bets, but also had some really bad bets. And Kevin Holland, I don't know. I don't know. It just makes no sense to me. But yeah, that's the recap for UFC 318. Went a little long, but God, there's so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Let me know what you guys think about the card. Was the Kevin Holland fight rigged? Was it rigged? Because come on, man. Come on, it was rigged, right? Let me know. Let me know. Like, subscribe. We'll be back Sunday night for Stat Diggers, breaking down UFC Abu Dhabi. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's card. And good night. I'm like falling asleep as I'm ending the show. So good night.